Good morning. Good morning. Uh, so I'm gonna make this video about my experience working at CSX as a new conductor and what to expect and things of that nature. And I'm gonna tell you about my experience. Now, before we get into this video, we should really start talking about CSX. Would I recommend anybody to work for the company CSX? Yes, but I wouldn't recommend no new conductor, to work at the terminal in Cayce, South Carolina. That's right. I wouldn't recommend no one to work at the terminal in Cayce, South Carolina, because there's a variety of issues that's going on. And so we're in the process of a new CEO, and he said that he want a cultural change. But how much do you want a cultural change um, when we continue to experience discrimination within the company, um, people misusing their power in the company, a lot of MTOs, do things and nothing can be said about it. And one of the crazy things that stood out to me about CSX is that anything that got to do with HR go through Jacksonville. You have no place to walk in and even first voice your opinion or tell what's going on, or feel obligated to reach out to someone. So they got something called the union, but I mean that if you're able to get in contact with those people, because they're regular people, that workers, that is voted among the conductors, and people that represent the conductors or the engineers or whatever the case might be. But it's a variety of things that I want to speak on today. But I want to say, first of all, I don't like the direction that this company going in, and that's the reason why you have one of the worst turnover ratios that in the country. They're supposed to be paying a good salary. It's a quite a few things to all you new conductors and people that's work within this company that I don't understand. And I'm going to touch on all this. So let me elaborate on this real fast, because I also want y'all to know in this video that my experience and what happened with me and how I've been treated unfairly, and how this particular guy targeted me from day one, right? He targeted me from day one, and I just always felt uncomfortable, right? And like anybody, you get nervous around your manager, or anybody. But we hear things across the world, but we never expect to experience it in the company that we work for. So today, I'm speaking my truth, and I'm speaking out because I want other people and all you new people, before you take the job, to really consider what I'm telling you and what I'm saying. I'm speaking my truth today. It's not about any kind of resolution that I want to come. My thing is this: I want each and every one to be treated fairly, that comes behind me, before me, or anything, right? And I think humanity is bigger than anything. Our integrity and humanity is bigger than anything. But it's a shame to have a $1 billion company that every quarter have $1 billion in profit sharing and breaking records, that the employee is getting treated horrible. One of the things that Mr. Hendricks talked about when he came to Jacksonville, he said he noticed that the engineer and the conductors most of the time have a good relationship. But something that I found out in my journey that I was with CSX, that they have managers and leaders, but don't possess leadership. Now, I only encountered one guy in Cayce, South Carolina, and he was horrible. I just felt discriminated at times. I felt harassed at times. But like anybody, I was afraid to speak up. I was afraid to speak out because I really wanted my job. I really liked my job. But then throughout the course of things, and as things progressed, then I found out that I was getting treated unfairly. And CSX is one of them places where you can't directly go to walk into HR or walk into somebody because then they say if you speak out on somebody, they're gonna be targeting you, so you got to be, you got to have tough skin. But it is a level of concern and a lot of red flags that, the last few months, just at my terminal that when I was at Cayce, South Carolina, that, out of 6 black guys, 4 of them got terminated. Some of them was their fault, right? But something that stands out that this guy particular, the one guy that worked there, he continued to badger people, a guy by the name Nate. He continued to badger people, and come for them and target them. And, people throughout the company say that, this is what he do. Being a young conductor, I wasn't very aware of what he do. But before we get back to that, I want to kind of give you guys the rundown on what's to look for if you think about taking employment or seeking employment with CSX. So they send you to the Ready Center and you go over a bunch of things far-wise as what to do and what not to do at the Ready Center. But your duration, your time at the Ready Center, is not a lot of hands-on. So if you're looking for it to be hands-on, you can forget that. You got about 1 week to, actually do any kind of hands-on physical activity far-wise to that aspect. You go through, you take a few tests, a few quiz, and, you got to be able to make a decent score, 90 or better on the scores, to try to maintain your academics throughout your duration of time that you're housed there. So one of the things that y'all need to look out for that CSX really need to work on, and I hope they continue. I hope that they get a better program to make it's a better workplace for everyone, every new conductor and every conductor. So you get there, and at the end when you graduate, the only thing they tell you that you got to be responsible for your own time. You're responsible for your own time. So when you get there, right, and you get to your terminal, those people having them MTOs and those other people being gone from the Ready so long, they don't even know how to help you with your time, right? And then once you get to your terminal, right, they're going to take you on a farewell tour. That's what I call it, farewell tour. That means you go qualify for these jobs 2 or 3 times. You qualify for them, take a trip, right? And then once you get, marked up, you're on your own. Marked up means, now you took the final test and you're a conductor. So the biggest problem with that, when you get marked up, they only told you about your time. They haven't told you about nothing else, right? So at the Ready Center, you got to remember, they don't tell you how to do the ticket. They don't tell you how to do the ticket. So you're not going to know how to do the ticket. There's no class for that. And that's unfair to these new conductors. So it's a lot to take in consideration before you take this job. They got a new CEO, and I kind of like the environment that he's trying to bring to CSX. But my experience at CSX, I think that it need to be more for new conductors, right? Because you're just putting them out there, and some people are not able to process a lot at one time. You got to do more hands-on than anything. And I think that going forward, that before anybody go to the main line, they should work in the yard a X amount of time, then go work these jobs and qualify. Because that's part of why people having all these derails and a lot of things that's going wrong. A lot of people not like me, but unfortunately, I want people to succeed and be successful. At this point in time, I wouldn't really recommend, this job for people because, of how things going. I believe that CSX as a whole, is very important to the world. But far wise as leadership and what's really going on, the infrastructure, what's going on in the company, it's not suitable for anyone. A lot of people say they got a lot of years in, but it's a reason why a lot of people are turning this job down. So many people turning this job down. Know what you're getting yourself into, people. If you got a good job, you get out there, you got MTO that don't like you and just targeting you for no reason. And, say they want hiding in the bushes, flying drones. That's not part of leadership. That's not part of leadership. If you look leadership up, there's nothing to do with that. You know, we need to, going forward, they need to build their people up instead of hiding in the bushes, looking for things to go wrong. How can you keep anybody if you're looking for things to go wrong? If you're an MTO, a train master, a yard master, you must build your people up. You must encourage them. But instead of doing that, we have people that know they can get away with things because they have always gotten away with things. And that's just the nature of it. I don't think Mr. Hendrick knows about this. I don't think he do. But my job is to put awareness to what's going on because I've been treated unfairly, very unfairly. And, they say, well, you can't talk about this in the investigation. You can't use this. Nobody can stop this platform. I can say what I want to say. I can do what I want to do on this. I ain't worrying about what somebody going to say. I ain't worrying about somebody going to write me up. I'm telling the whole world. Because nobody's got to go to work afraid to do anything because they're going to lose their job. Because a person want to do something wrong to them. Because you just don't like them. So, you don't have nobody to help you with the tickets. Now, let me explain something to y'all. Even though you go over the CT 168 and the EC ones at the Ready Center, when you get back to your terminal, if you're not just up and down the road and you're doing industry, and you're just doing industry work, you're not really doing a bunch of EC ones, dark territory. You're not really doing a bunch of EC ones. So, I want to, give y'all, enlighten y'all on that. If y'all trying to find any kind of valuable information, most time people struggle with the EC1s because, they haven't been up and down the main line and it might be their first time and dispatches going 100 miles per hour and you might got an engineer that is agitated or aggravated that don't really want to do that. And I understand that that's not their job, right? But, don't bash people because you've been out there 20 years, you've been out there 25 years, and you just don't want to help nobody. The world a better place without you. That's the reason why people evolve and develop and and advance to the next level because we recognize that what help mean, right? We understand what that means. But as a culture, we want America to get bigger and the society to get bigger with our jobs. But we also want to be treated fairly. And that's something that I know haven't been presented there at that terminal in Cayce, South Carolina. They out of the it's only one bad manager there, right? In Cayce, South Carolina. I want to make that a point. Nobody likes him. I just felt like it was discrimination against me and some others. And, I don't think no black person feel comfortable around this guy. He's a white guy and nobody feel comfortable around him. But, it's everywhere he goes, not just in the black community, he do this also in the white community. I think it's wrong all across the board. And by no means necessary do I represent racism, right? I don't represent it in no kind of fashion, form, or way. I speak from humanity. So if you're watching this video, don't get it misconstrued and think it's just a one-sided video. But we must talk about what's important here, people, because we got a bunch of derails. We got a bunch of people losing their lives by riding in the shove riding in the clearance point. And I've also done that riding the clearance point, but I've gotten down. I was only doing it to protect the shove. So it wasn't like all the time thing. It was just a one-time type of thing. And and this guy, particularly what I'm talking about, he just wanted me gone. He just wanted me gone. That's all to it. He never liked me for how I look, for who I am. My dark skin, my brown eyes. He just didn't like me. And it's okay because I realized that, CSX don't have to hear me. My voice is bigger than CSX. Nobody should have to go through nothing that I went through. It was terrible. And it just amazed me how nothing could get done. They can just put anything in the system. Then you get a letter, you get a coaching or whatever case might be, and nothing can get done. I just find that amusing. But I wouldn't really recommend this job. This is terrible. I can't believe that CSX actually got a guy working in Cayce, South Carolina that abusing his power, lying, being conniving, and all this other stuff. And people are afraid to speak up. Matter of fact, They should do a survey. They should do a survey. Send it to everybody's tablet and make them do a survey. Send it to everybody's tablet and make them do a survey. I guarantee this dude won't be there. I guarantee this dude won't be there. I guarantee this dude won't be there. He been to Charleston, nobody like him. He been to something, nobody like him. He in cayce, nobody like him. Everybody wants him gone. So it's not just me. But I will tell you a lot of things that he did towards me, and I'll let y'all be the judge of it. Also, I got audio for y'all. Yeah. So I got some audio for y'all, what he done. And I know to some people that don't mean nothing. I know that don't mean nothing, right? So I'm coming to the world now. I'm enlightening the world what really happened, how I've been treated. A lot of people, I don't move on CSX. That was just a job I had. My faith in God is bigger than that job. And right now, if you somewhere around the world going through that, I have been through what I'm going through, understand that all things go through God, right? Don't put your faith in things like this, because you have people there that do things like this and you really can't explain it. So just be mindful for that. Don't get discouraged. Don't get down on yourself and disappointed. Things like this happen, right? It's not everybody, but it's some people. So day one when I got there, it was kind of bad. I got kind of a bad feel for this guy, just negativity. Kind of like he give off the meaning like, he kind of crooked, he don't mean well. I heard that before I got there, but I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So when I met him, his presence was kind of off. He give you this weird feeling like he ain't trustworthy. He give you this feeling like, you got to watch yourself at all times. So I was working in Sumter, South Carolina, and I pulled a train. It didn't couple up, right? So anybody that don't know what couple is, that's when you're making a shove move and the two jaw heads don't align and don't couple, right? So when it didn't couple up, I pulled the train 50 feet to a stop and asked for a 3-step. Now within this 50 feet, if you got a 3-step, you can work in the limits, right? You can work anywhere in the limits as long as you got a 3-step. And it's not moving equipment. So I went and go line the jaw heads up. And, he charged me for that. He wrote me up for that. Now, everybody, didn't agree with it. Nobody agreed with it. And by the way, he was talking to this one guy, and the guy asked him why he was writing me up for. And he said, he know I'm right, but, he had to prove a point. He had to prove a point. And that was his way of proving a point. That was his time to prove a point. And it just kind of, from that point on, it didn't kill my confidence. But then I was like, yeah, he don't like me, because anybody who know about that situation gonna tell you that they don't understand it. Now, goes on and goes on. So I'm working a ramp job, and I told the engineer to stop. One car to a stop. I said, that's good when you stop. He kept going. So mission hit the derail and messed up the splinters in the derail. So the train didn't derail, so it tapped it and was not able to put it in the derail position and in the off position. So that's the on and off direction. And they tried to charge me and wrote me up for that. But really didn't follow protocol, because you're supposed to download the engine and see how fast that engineer was going. It don't make no difference what I say. You're supposed to download that engine, take protocol, and do the right thing and see how fast the engine was going. But because of the nature with the engineer and all that, they chose not to do that. They chose not to do that. So what they did was told me, don't worry about we're handling any house and whatnot. You didn't derail. I said, no, sir, I didn't derail. So since you didn't derail, we're handling the house. So what happened was they tried to hold that against me. But at the same time, how you gonna hold something against me, but you never follow protocol? Jacksonville don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. How you not following protocol? Why not this dude been downloaded to see how fast he was going? Maybe Vic did told you stop one car. But we both know, if you follow me in this video, we know why that didn't happen. Because they didn't want him to find out that he was going too fast like he was. Right? See, a lot of things, people feel like they can hide things, but I'm coming out and I'm speaking my truth so people be aware of these kind of actions. So Mr. Hendricks can know about these things that are going down here in Cayce, South Carolina. The good old boy town down here. So you'll know what's going on. So, continue on with the story. So now I'm being a young conductor. I go down the main line. Again, I haven't been on the main line in 3 months. Oh man, you don't know how to do EC1. Well, I wouldn't know how to do EC1 because I ain't really been on the main line. So that's common sense that I'm going to struggle with it. And everybody in this company know people will struggle with EC1 if you're not accustomed to doing them all the time. Then it take time, right? It take time. So because even the ones that been there 20 years that have been on the main line 1,000 times struggle with it because at certain times they don't go down the main line. Now they started going back down the main line. They've been working in the yard. So there's a lot of gray areas in this conversation for our wives, as you can see that everything that I'm telling you, that this guy was just out to get me. He just didn't care. And it was bigger than CSX. So carry on. He had a problem with that. Now, meanwhile, every new conductor in CSX across the nation struggled with EC1. I have problems doing them at first. At first. It takes time because you're on different territory. It takes time. So that was also something to be held against me. So now I go back, I'm marked up, and I see jobs that I haven't seen in 3 months. And I come back and I got to work them again and ask for a pilot. You know what? The dispatcher say, when they call you, they say, now I understand that you ain't worked this job in such amount of time. If you need a pilot, you can get you a pilot. He held that against me. But all the jobs at my home terminal, I never need a pilot. I never need a pilot. Is for the people that don't know what that is a chaperone or a shadow, somebody to shadow you for a while to briefly show you what you be doing again. And that's for all of us. If things and jobs out here that if you're a new conductor, that you got to be aware of these things, that you might just need to be shown it just one more time. And that was my case, that I just need to be shown some of these jobs again because I haven't seen it no more than 3 months ago in training. And I think anybody will agree with that, saying that, nothing's wrong because that's CSX policy. So again, he goes against CSX policy and try to charge me with that. So everything I told you about now, he charged me with that. Now, I had an eye injury. And before I got to work, my mom called me and we talked, and she didn't know if I was going to make it to work. So now I got these shades on. I've been telling people for 2 or 3 weeks, my eye been killing me. So I get on the train. We taking the cold train. I get on the train and my phone missing wrong, but I didn't answer and I wasn't on it. And I told him, I said, my mama called me back, man, I wasn't feeling good. Oh, I got to write you up for that, man. FRA violation. But you check that tablet and you check them cards. You didn't say nothing about the card that was expired because even though I know it was good, at the same time, it's still good in the system. It's just on a piece of paper that was expired. You find the need to point out everything that you possibly can. But not one time you look me in the eye as a man and tell me, I understand what you're going through. I understand what you're trying to do. Not one time. Not one time. But you did everything to make sure I get fired. And I do think that is wrong because I think so many people have experienced this real. I think so many people have experienced it throughout CSX and didn't spoke up. Didn't spoke up. And because they didn't spoke up, they're out of a job. Because they didn't spoke up, they can't support their family at that particular time. I want to bring awareness to CSX about people like this. And the reason why those kind of people don't need to be employed with CSX. This is a guy that abuses power and his position, and he done it all through wherever he been sent to. I mean, you go through this company and ask about this dude, nobody likes him. Nobody. And And he continued to do this. And if he found out you don't like him, he would keep doing other stuff that's uncharacteristic and not part of the job. Now, one of the things that I found out, another red flag is that if you look in the book, it said the entire tour duty, your tour duty, duty on tour, your tour duty or whatever the case might be, while you in uniform, basically. Your whole tour duty while you in uniform, you cannot have no tobacco or electronic device. Man, that don't mean shit. That don't mean nothing. Because they do that relentless. But it's okay for them to do that. You in uniform. Nothing gets said about it. They got this dude on camera, man. And for him, he's not the only one. But for him just to be doing this all the time and, just breaking the rules, and I get that because, it's a double standard. Why is it okay and cool to do one thing, but then, nobody want to talk about this? I find that are very misleading and everything. So now with the cell phone thing, we got that. I was on the cell phone. Yeah, my cell phone rang. I was in the wrong. But I wasn't on it, okay? So, now I work in industry one day, and I come back in this industry, and I couple up, and MTO and another MTO and another and a superintendent, another MTO, which is a good guy. I like him a lot. He was a good guy. I got no positive thing to say about him. So I went there to couple up, and this was my second time doing this industry. And the switch wasn't open, so it wasn't following the track. And the cars are left in the clear where they supposed to be. So I coupled up to them, and they said that, when I coupled up to them, those empty cars that I was pulling from the full could have been in the foul. So they told me stop my movement, get the empty cars, and couple up to the empties and set them off on the main line. And I did as I'm instructed. But little did I know that, that'll really be held to me for a while as a red flag. Like, you know what? This guy's just messing up. Little did I would never even first thought about that until it was brought to my attention, until they got me in the room and said, you know what, after work, you got to watch out for those things. But it was more of a felt like a situation like, you know what, man, you messing up. It didn't felt like one of them type of things where, what, we really mean well for you, and I can understand why you made that movement. You did what you did. We understand. It was more of like, I felt the presence of kind of like demeanor for a while. Like, this is worse than what it was. And, I took that on the chin. So he explained to me, about riding in the yard and what track to ride in. So the very next day, I worked that same industry. And everything went smooth. So I get back to the yard, and we get permission from the yard master for what track to go in. And we have another yard job with 201 switching on the yard. And normally they clears up for us to come in the track. But this particular time they didn't, for whatever reason. And that was to the yard master that the MTO. He could have made them clear up, and made room for us to do whatever. But so the yard master gave us permission to come in the track, right? And I really want y'all to hear this. And I'm a new conductor as well. So think from the perspective of being a new conductor in this situation. So the yard master gave me permission to come in the yard and come in the track. Told us to come in track 5. Well, when we get to track 5, we know that there was a car in track 5, which the track supposed to have been open. So we called back the yard master and say, yard master, we got a car in this track. He responded and said that I didn't know a car was in that track. So this is the person supposed to know what every track got something in. If it got whatever track it in, he's over the whole yard. He knows what in there and what's not. So if I'm a new conductor and you tell me you didn't know that, why would I trust anything? My man tell me, why trust anything that you say? Right? Why trust anything if you're gonna tell me you didn't know? And my man just tell me, not to trust that. And I think anybody mine would have told him the same thing. You not to really trust that judgment. So that's what I did. I didn't trust the judgment. It just didn't felt right. So carry on. So what I did was, it was a close clearance. But at that point in time, I'm thinking like, I got to shove back and I got 10 cars behind me, make a decision. And so what I did wrong was I rode to adjacent track, right? That's all I did wrong. But I want to kind of like take y'all through my mindset, what I was trying to do. So when he told us to go in that track, and it was empty, the first thing I wanted to do was protect the shove. So I got up and rode, and I was riding back. And then I realized halfway doing the track that, this track might be adjacent. So I stopped my movement and got down. Then I continued to pull the train through the tracks, because I stopped halfway through there and knew that, this track is adjacent, and I'm probably riding in the foul. But during that moment, in that time, I want to protect the shove for a while. That train going through that track and hitting any cars that probably can cause death to me and the engineer. Through CSX, we have, read and witnessed that a lot of conductors and engineers have gotten killed because of that and result in death. And I understand that, also riding in the close clearance and adjacent track, that it also can be the same thing. But I was able to, stop halfway through the track when I noticed that, I was riding in riding close clearance adjacent to the track, and I stopped all movement and I got down. But during that time, being a young conductor, a lot of people got to realize it's not too many people that would have thought to have protected shove, because we see out through this company how many people have lost their lives, how many phone calls people, parents, a significant other have gotten. So I pat myself on the back for doing that, and I think I did something great. So this MTO, he didn't care about nothing about that. He didn't care nothing about that. Because like I said again, he was out to target me. He wasn't out to help me. You can clearly see that. So I actually got something for y'all. I got something for y'all. Hopefully that y'all can hear it. But if you can't, I'll make another video, and I just really want y'all to hear about, this guy, that he really,
Bluetooth mode.
He really don't care, so he sat there and lied to the MTOs. I mean, he sat there. This particular guy sat there and lied to the superintendent and the assistant superintendent. Now y'all gonna hear in this video that this dude sat there and told me that he fought for me. I should have had more time and all this other stuff. But then in the end, you're gonna see where he just sat there and lie about everything. Now you got to remember that CSX said you can do everything, anything except lie to us. Now this dude clearly lied. This plain and simple, black and white, that this dude lied. And I'm going to elaborate on this in other videos as well. But, I just want to kind of give y'all the breakdown. And this happened to a lot of people. Unfortunately, this happened to me. And my job and dilemma behind this right here. If you was to go out and ask a bunch of people, they disagree about what happened. But who am I, to go fight them back and forth? So I put it on the platform so I can bring awareness to new and young conductors what to suspect, and advise no one to go to cayce, South Carolina. No one. And I hope this get to Mr. Jimmy Hendricks. Mr. Joseph Hendricks. I hope this get to the new CEO. I will be pushing this on all platforms until I get some kind of resolution behind this. I will continue to push the pencil, because this is wrong. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. And I really think that CSX can become, a great company for a while as culture change. But first we must get these kind of people out of here, because this is a shame. And then you're gonna hear where this dude just sit there and lie for no reason. And I didn't trust him. That's why I recorded, because I didn't trust him. You know, I'm going to push the pencil all on this. I'm going to keep pushing the pencil on this because he's not trustworthy. So y'all just follow me with the video. And thank y'all for watching the video this far. So let's go.
Bluetooth mode.
Sorry about that. Here we go. This is the whole conversation. Now, at first he said it ain't about to derail. Then he come back. At first he said about to derail and the safety protocol. Then he come back and say it ain't about to derail. Everything the dude say a lie. And I want y'all to hear it with me.
Take the kids to school, come to the
And he wanted to fire me so bad till he texted me 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, I wasn't scheduled to work. Most people in their bed 6 o'clock in the morning. Why would you even first text a man 6 o'clock in the morning? That's perfectly done. Let's go. Now his superintendent and assistant superintendent don't even first know he did this. They don't even first know he said this kind of thing. He said this to me, but they sat there and support what he was doing. And I don't know if they support it. I think that they just heard what he said and went with a lot of stuff that he was doing. But you can't hide from this right here. The whole world hearing it now. The whole world hearing it. And this ain't gonna be the first and the last time.
Jacksonville called me yesterday afternoon, and they going to reject the application.
Jacksonville, he said Jacksonville reject my application. Jacksonville ain't know nothing about it.
They say, well, they extended your training up front, you know, then marked you up. And then when you marked up, we gave you some pilots to help you out, and just with all the derailer and all the safety accidents, they said we'll have to reject it. The safety, okay.
Now he said derail. Y'all heard it with me together. He said derail. A derail never happened. The train never derailed before. It never derailed. So he already told one lie right here, and we got him. We got you right here, buddy. And we got you right here. So Mr. Hendricks, if you're hearing this right here, yes, sir, buddy, we got you one. We got y'all one CSX line right here. Didn't y'all say you could do anything but lie? Well, you know what? This wrong for termination and falsifying documentation right here. Gotcha.
Yeah, you know, that talk with the assistant suit. Remember you talked to the bosses a few days ago? Yeah, I talked to him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that, with the other day that you worked when you rode with cars in Jason track, they said they looked at everything and looked it over and said they don't want to take a risk. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know I don't got a dog in this fight, and it is what it is, right? Because I don't just sit there and focus on. I know that, you go by the rule. I mean, rule book, say this and say that. Okay, but just like the other day when we came in, I wasn't really accustomed to that when training master said that track supposed to be open. Mm-hmm. My first initial thing was to get up on the engine and ride, right? So when that car was there, he didn't even first know that car was in the open track. He didn't even know that car. My first thing was, I would like to speak to the superintendent because my first thing was protect the show. Right? That's what drilled me 1,000 times. Protect the show. When I thought about protecting the show, then I got a little complacent for advisors. What part of the yard? You know what I'm saying? And I just, me personally, I feel like, I should have some leverage there. Now I do. I feel I should have some leverage there because that track supposed to be open. And first thing I want to do is protect the show. If he didn't know that car was in there, the first thing came to my mind, hold up, let me ride, because I never rode in this yard before. It's no footage of me ever riding in this yard, and I want to do that. I want to say, okay, I heard what you said when Double said Double D said it was a car, would have been in the track. That's the first thing that came to my mind. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Now, I didn't have time to explain because I had so much stuff going on for a while decision making. Decision making. But I want to make sure it wasn't nothing in that train because I was never expecting that car to be there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting that car to be there. So I'm thinking that let me ride back. So if I see something, I can stop. That's where I got complacent with that for a while, the track, adjacent track. I knew I talked to the superintendent, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, my young man, that should be something done on my behalf for a while that because I want to protect the show.
I mean, but if you just rode the other side of the car, if you rode the other side of the car, past them cars, and then when you got down to the other end where there was cars on that other side, you stopped and crossed over and got on that side, you'd have been fine. But that's the thing out here is shit's always changing. Everything changes, and got to be able to make that decision on safety, because that's how fast things change.
Right. So like I said, it doesn't. It don't do no good, from this perspective. Like you talk to me and you say, well, we spoke on this and we spoke on that, all the safety incident, really. And I know the rules say, besides, the one time that Jeff talked to me at the ramp and said the car wasn't 20 feet apart, right? You said the car wasn't the whole car 50 feet apart. It was 20 feet, right? I'm not justifying anything that in CSX rule book that said this and said that. And apparently, you just hearing me out because what decision I'm made. But I understand that. But even from the time that you said I got a pilot on this and a pilot on that, and training on this and training on that, I really haven't need a pilot on this or that. And I just want.
Now I want y'all to see something. Anytime a CSX employee is working a job or been called for a job, they got the right to ask for a pilot. They got the right to ask for a pilot. He didn't care nothing about that. He threw everything that he thought he could get me written up for and try to fire me. Carry on.
Real quick, because some things been missed from school a little bit, and I don't know where things been said or where or the extent of things, right? But now you was in something with me, and I think that probably wasn't even with that. Probably the first month, I pulled that car 50 feet apart, and I had 3-step. And I understand you say standing equipment 25 rule foot, but everyone out here, everyone out here, and I take it. I can only take it what Nate give me. I can only take it what people give me because I feel like Nate worried me more than somebody else or whoever, right? So if I'm training with these people, and here's the thing for me. Now, who fight for me in these regards? I just want to know. Like I said, I know that we didn't have me, you, others. I only talk to y'all when you're here because you probably someplace, see them someplace, and it's not a lot where we can have that direct communication without a phone call, or, if we don't see you. So it could be weeks if you're someplace else. But here's the thing. For people that training you and telling you, you got 3-step, right? The whole purpose of 3-step. And I say, you know what? The man told me this real. That's why I never really went back and forth. I said, he told me that. I'm taking what it is because that's what it means. But at the same time, everybody out there is 3-step. And they say, well, the jaw head. The train was 50 feet apart. You know that. I put one car to the stop. So I'm thinking that I got the 3-step, to work right there with the jaw head. And say, well, you got to walk around 25 feet. I understand that. But at the same time, you say walk around 25. But at the same time, people say, well, you got 3-step to work in the limits. So I'm taking the accountability that somebody been out there 20 years. I've been out here. I would have been out here during that time probably a month. Probably a month and a half. I'm out here a month and a half. Who am I to challenge somebody that been out here 20 years doing that when I'm thinking that hey, all the guys, they say work within the 3 steps. It's not that I know that everybody say, well, 25 feet, 25 feet. I can have more justification, ratification when they ask me, well, why you did that? My mind go blank because I'm nervous already. My LTO watching me, and then I'm like, okay, I'm doing something. But it's justification ratified that, hey, this is what the whole training, this is what's been going on.
All I can tell you is nobody seen him because I mean, hell, I've written.
Nah, I want y'all to notice something. He didn't really like for me talking to him that long. You know what I mean? I realized that, he didn't respect me talking to him that long. Any grown man or grown woman can see that, right? We can see that. That's obvious that we see that, he didn't really show no respect, in that regard. He didn't show no respect, when I was talking to him. He was kind of rushy, kind of answering this and that and the third. But how can you call somebody 6 o'clock in the morning, but then rushing them? That means this was intent, then. This was intent. This was intent. Do y'all got any idea how many people pull a train, one car to a stop, 50 feet to a stop in a 3-step? That means everybody should be fired. He wrote me up for that.
Bradshaw for that same stuff. Down there. Who else? Want to say Beldock.
I know
and for stuff like that.
I know you did, but I know you did, Nate.
I mean, if we see it, we document it.
Right,
if they're doing it when we're not there,
and guess what? I don't doubt that though. But guess what though? Where that leave me the band? They put my head in the blender. And this shit ain't fair. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it ain't fair because now here come me to want to do the right damn thing. Yeah. I want to do the right thing. Even I told you with my phone, I never used my damn phone, none of that shit, bro. I had a serious eye injury. I couldn't even know if I was gonna drive to work or make it to work. I never marked off, took no job. My eye killing me. I mean, between me and you, man to man, your mama would have called you, Nate. She would have called you and say, son, you all right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, we men at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they said don't supposed to be power on, but I wasn't on that phone. I wasn't on the phone.
I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, if we would have had that conversation when it happened instead of the next day.
Right.
So why he ain't told the superintendent that? Why he ain't told the superintendent that? Y'all tell me. Y'all watching it, y'all hearing the same thing I'm hearing. You see how this dude sat there and just lied and told people stuff that he talking about if we'd had that conversation the next day or what case might be next minute. But I told you on our train that I wasn't feeling good and my eye was hurting and my mama called me for that. Some of the stuff y'all can see through it just like I'm seeing through it and just like everybody else can see through it. Why you ain't told these superintendents this stuff? Instead of making a case against me to make me look bad. Why you ain't did that? Huh?
Right, well,
things would have been different.
Right, but you
could have been different.
Yeah, but put yourself in my shoes. But
if I don't know,
right. But Nate, listen. Listen. I'm your manager. You nervous as hell. Far wise everything that go on. I mean, you nervous. Anybody gonna get nervous? Just like Brian. Brian told me he been out here for whatever. And we was on the train all day. He said the phone came, man. I was nervous too. He said I was just nervous. It's just a thing that you get. I'm nervous as hell. Yeah. In the midst of everything that, hell, when you was on that train, that was my second time ever first had to do an EC1. That's my second time. EC1. Second time.
See, that's what we don't get. I mean,
because I haven't been on. When I did my training, I was late back to get back on the road again. That's just like the 624 that I did that. That was my first time being called back to the 624. Now check this out. I'm justified everything. I never not missed no call and everything was justified even when the guy got killed in front of my door. I want you to follow everything I'm saying. I ain't cut no corners. Alright? The 624 the first time I been on that job. Now I wouldn't have had Caesar help me last Sunday, or he wouldn't have came down there last Sunday if when I did it with Beldock, I remember how to do GP, right? But when he supposed to show me how to go do, when I supposed to get shown how to do the Martian yard, and that's derail. And that's derail. So you see what I'm saying? Now, if they don't derail, now I done went back and I done seen everything. Hey, I'm good. I don't need no powder. I know when I come there, go spot track 5, pull track 2, make sure everything latch and lock back, and get on back. But for not seeing it one time, I mean, I got to have some kind of ratification, man. I'm talking like, shit, I ain't seen it one time. Look, went by a blink of a time. Now sometimes you got to hit the MTO, but hey, you know, I had to see this job again, or this and that and third. And I saw it no one time. Paid with the ticket. Didn't even with the ticket. Didn't even, I get out here, and then when you get somebody back, oh, you supposed to do a ticket. Well, leaving the
Now, remember now, I told y'all when y'all get out the Ready Center, when you get marked up, it ain't nobody trained you how to do a ticket. You don't know nothing about this ticket. You don't even first know you got to do a ticket. You don't even first know you got to do a ticket until y'all finish the job and the engineer say, okay, man, you got the ticket. But again, he heard all this, right? He told his supervisor, he told his boss this, right? He told his boss this. Man, y'all know it's a lie. Y'all know clear as day, this a lie.
The only thing they said was, when you get there, you're responsible for your own pay. Listen to this, responsible for your own pay. These things I've been talking to the engineer about and talking to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I am quiet, you know, when it comes to stuff, because I feel like I'm gonna be quiet because I don't got a dog in the fight far-wise to go ahead and emphasize on. So you should probably some time because why you been? Because I'm just listening, taking it all in. You know, just like I can make an argument, about that derail. They say the slight ran in, but I stopped that car, I stopped before that derail car in the air.
I don't know, I wouldn't.
I know you wasn't there, but it was on the radio, a car in the air. A whole car. I've been out here for a minute. I've been out here, and since I've been out here, I ain't saw, even if I say stop one car, I ain't saw no slight ran no whole car. I ain't seen no, I know this might not mean that because the decision would already been made, but I ain't seen no car, no train, when you say stop, ran 50 feet. I ain't seen it with my eyes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know you don't know. I know you don't know, but what I'm trying to say is, though, I can make that case about that derail as well. I can make the case about that derail there. I just feel. But I thought it was handled in-house. You know, from how it happened, by the time he did that, it was like basically like a little touch. It was like basically a touch. But at the same time, I'm at the job and I'm supposed to, and I'm doing what, you know, and I understand the other day. But at the same time, you can see why I wouldn't go with that conversation. It ain't just like, okay, Vic, you just want to make a bad decision. You know what I'm here. That close, this. But, man, Owens, when I showed on the other day, that's my first time, Nate.
That's why I'm
listen, but listen what I'm saying, though. I rode with, that was really like kind of part of my second time. When Caesar told me about it, he said, make sure you on the outside so you can see the curb, right? I would have saw the closed clamps and would have stopped it. But I'm just saying though, this is my, because if you ain't on the third or whatnot the case might be, you're not really shoving and doing that third. I ain't bullshitting, man. I ain't out here bullshitting. Everything I'm doing, I say I'm doing. When I got with Brian, that's how I thought learning the EC1. I had to get with somebody to learn the EC1. Nobody helped me with the ticket. You went in, I mean, even with the ticket, you was Holly Hill, Waycross, and all that. Yeah, they ain't first got nobody come out of training, bro, to help you put the regular pay in, to tell you to put 9D in and just do that. I know a lot of this shit really in your back, but doesn't that go on, man? I got a strong case, bro, why I should be here. I got a strong case why I should be here, not why I need my damn job. You know what I mean? I need my job, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't had a chance to talk to you because you're always here, you're always there. You know what I'm saying? It's always there and always there. It's a lot of damn pressure. Yeah. For me to go back on jobs that when I supposed to go, okay, I had a pilot on the job really. I didn't need a pilot on no damn job. I've been on the ramp. I don't need no pilot. I mastered that job. If somebody watching me down there, they know I get the job done. I done came down there I done came down there and we called 9 o'clock with damn 30 cars. By the time I left there, everything got spotted. Everything. I never been out there and nothing didn't get spotted. Cause I've been on that job. Those switches and where everything real, they been locked. I called 2 or 3 times on the radio. 2 or 3 times, every switch, everything that I done done. You know, and I'm be honest with you, niggas. You know, I get what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But I talk to you. You know everything, man. You know everything. My eye was fucked up. I got the doctor's excuse. I got everything. You know, I'm in a fucking lot of pain. I didn't first know a piece of metal was in my eye. 2 weeks ago before that, Travis, let me tell you, they knew that. I had told him, man, my eye fucking killing me out here. My eye killing me out here. I'm saying my eye really hurt. I'm working in pain the whole time. That's why I had the shades on the whole time we was in the truck. I had the shades on because my eye was so sensitive to light. And I'm like, shit, I got a perfect time. I really want to be at work. I do everything to be at work. Anybody tell you, man, he gonna be at work.
Yeah.
I didn't have a whole lot of time to talk to you about the shit, but a lot of shit in the trail, man. I mean, I go back on the job, been there 3 months. Like I told Steve, I said, man, I really want to master that. That shit's 38, man, because he said, oh, it take time. You know, it take time. You know, you got 100 cars switch out. Give me the track list here. Give me the track list here, and then tell me verse 1 and something. I'm gonna knock that shit out. I'm gonna knock it out.
Man, the only thing I can tell you is Chop worked last night and he'll be up about 12, 1 o'clock. Give him a call.
What they gonna do?
I mean, he might be able to call, talk to him. I mean, but
I need you to fight for me, Nate.
I mean, I did yesterday, but they said from Jacksonville. So, I mean,
man, goddamn, the damn track not open. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
Where's he at? This other? There he is.
yeah.
Hey, man.
Sorry.
I will get Scott to give you some tags. I don't have any.
Okay.
I don't usually keep them in the truck. I mean, I might have like 1 or 2, not enough to.
I just either one of y'all got one that I can throw on that engine and.
Oh, I'm gonna look. I probably do got
Yeah, I probably got 1.
Yeah.
But I'll get Scott to get his hands on some and drop them off to you tomorrow.
I been excited for Don't Shut Down, even job for the FR.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's got bad batteries or either a charging issue.
yeah, that's the one that.
Is there an incident against it?
Yeah, I mean, what's his name? The guy that works 20 hours in a day.
Roddy?
Roddy tagged it. And somebody threw the tag out, I guess.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And that is the one.
All right. It must be. How far off of a queue is it? Did you remember?
I don't even have.
Because that's the next time to get worked on. They don't send nothing in. That's why all these locomotives are falling apart.
Yep.
Hang anything on there. Just anything. To just say don't let it shut off.
It ain't got to be that specific tag for the FRA.
It should be, but just so your crews know.
Well,
hey, y'all, don't shut this sumbitch off. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's even in the book, right? Even in the start.
and I get it. The guy's out of habit.
Yeah, but just do it.
Just put it in isolate. But yeah, they'll put it in jog, it'll run.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to handle a little bit of business. I want to get right back. I want to speed it up a little bit because somebody came in and interrupted me here. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna speed it up and get it back so we can get past that part.
I guess the one Cecil had or something, or Holly or something.
Yeah, I'm going to dispo that car. The way across, it'll be picking up some big.
And all I gotta do is just put.
Should be able to fill it up. Just put it some bad batteries, and until you start place it in jog.
Like I said, I don't know what Chop gonna do, and it's hard to talk to somebody about everything that's been going on. You know what I'm saying? My brother died, bro. I came to work the same day.
I mean, that stuff, I mean, it runs its course. And that's what they came back with. I mean, talked about it. I talked to him about it when it happened, to our bosses, and then we talked about it the next day.
Now, y'all heard the dude say, now he talked about it to his bosses and all that and all the other shit and said he didn't lie. I want y'all to hear this.
So you just gotta wait and see what Jacksonville does.
But if you take up for me and you been fighting for me, why you gotta wait for Jacksonville, see what Jacksonville do? See, this shit was a setup from the start, man. This was a setup from the start. This was a setup from the start, Mr. Hendricks and CSX. This was a setup from the start.
Yeah, but I mean, besides that damn, the derail, like I say.
Watch this. Remember in the beginning of the video, I told you he said the derail. Now he changes his damn story up. It's not about the derail.
You know, I told me a car, a whole damn car to stop. You know what I'm saying? But I take that, and then the other damn day, I mean, somebody see what he's saying. Hey, when we came back, he said that damn track was open. You said the track was open.
But I mean, that's why we gotta always be updating job briefings. Shit changes, man. That's what we all say. It changes. It can change every minute.
Yeah, but
hour by hour.
The guy that trained off, he gonna even first say, "Oh, I ain't know a car was in there." The 201 switch. I'm new. So if I get that this man rolled beside the train, but his man too, he want to protect that damn show. If you told me,
I know, but Victor, that's what I'm saying. When you do something like that, you got to be thinking about Victor and Victor going home the same way he came in. You know, and just like that stuff over there at Morris Pitts, you got to be able to pick that stuff up before it puts you in a bad position.
right? But okay, with Morris Pitt, me, Cecil, and your boss talk about it, right? And me, Cecil, and your boss talk about it. Now, you know, I want to be all fair in this. They say they had the problem with Morris Pitt before about people putting the film. Now, from the same distance that this thing was, same distance that it was, right? It was in the curve. They don't have a line. They don't have a line out there for the clearance point. And I want to make this real. So I pulled track 14 the other day. The only difference was between Morris Pitt.
Now he's gonna say they don't have to follow their rules. So I went and found the switch, and they don't got a clearance point. Then what rules I'm breaking? If I'm not following that switch, and they don't have a clearance point, and it's past the point they're asking it for it to be, and they don't got to follow their rules, and we got to follow our rules, how's that adjacent? How's the track in the file?
And track 13 was the same distance. The only line 30, track 13 had the clearance line. Had the clearance line. But the same gap, same distance. And what I'm saying though, if they had this, and you tell me, I understand people. You fly drones, you do whatever. I want to just be fair. I want to be fair about stuff. I can take any kind of accountability I did. That's why I never, when you say something, I just listen to you talk. They had a problem with Morris Pitt. And I believe in the leaders. I believe in everybody. I don't tell people I ain't got nothing positive to say. When somebody happens, I say, I don't know why. But leadership.
But Victor, they own that track.
Right.
They own that stuff.
That's what I'm about to get at. They own that.
I mean, they don't have to follow our rules.
That's what I'll
Always lease them tracks.
So if they ain't got to follow them rules, then what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about, man?
They don't have to follow our rules.
I know, that's why I was about to get it, Nick, but that's why I was about
But we have to follow ours.
I know, and that's what I was about to say. They say they had a problem. I didn't know they had a problem, but then again, the track it looked clear from the point where the train could have came in. Because it wasn't this is how I looked at it. And you tell me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Now you mean to tell me you gonna fire a conductor that made a decision to couple up without tearing up anything, couple up to the tracks, and you gonna hold that against him. He ain't tore nothing up. He ain't damaged nothing. Ain't anything. Now I am gonna request to see this drone, this video. I am gonna request to see that. And why in the hell would I go back there when you doing all this right here? If you did all this right here, why in the hell would I go back there?
The crossing wasn't blocked. So the crossing wasn't blocked. That's my first thing. Make sure this crossing wasn't blocked when I walk back, right? So now I'm saying, okay, the car's right there, and you saying you're gonna follow it, but it could follow. But I'm like, okay, to make this move right here, these tracks got to be in the clear because it wouldn't even for leaving out here like this right here. Far wise for me to hit it, and I know the train wouldn't come in if it was sticking right out where the train couldn't come in at all. They said that it could, and that's why